Maintaining notebooks and notebook components. Notebook computers tend to not last as long as desktop computers because they are portable and, therefore, subjected to more wear and tear. A notebook's user manual gives specific instructions on how to care for the notebook. Those instructions follow these general guidelines. LCD panels on notebooks are fragile and can be damaged fairly easily. Take precautions against damaging a notebook's LCD panel. Don't touch it with sharp objects like ballpoint pens. Don't pick up or hold the notebook by the lid. Pick it up and hold it by the bottom. Keep the lid closed when the notebook is not in use. Only use battery packs recommended by the notebook manufacturer. Keep the battery pack away from moisture or heat, and don't attempt to take the pack apart. When it no longer works, dispose of it correctly. Chapter 13 covers how to dispose of batteries. Don't tightly pack the notebook in a suitcase because the LCD panel might get damaged. Use a good quality carrying case and make it a habit of always transporting the notebook in the carrying case. Don't place heavy objects on top of the notebook case. Don't move the notebook while the hard drive is being accessed. The drive indicator light is on. Wait until the light goes off. Don't put the notebook close to an appliance such as a TV, large audio speakers, or refrigerator that generates a strong magnetic field, and don't place your cell phone on a notebook while the phone is in use. Never, ever connect to the internet using a public network without setting the network location to a public network or using a software firewall. Always use passwords with each Windows user account so that the laptop is better protected when connected to a public network, stolen, or used by an unauthorized person. Keep your notebook at room temperature. For example, never leave it in a car overnight when it is cold, and don't leave it in a car during the day when it's hot. Don't expose your notebook to direct sunlight for an extended time. Don't leave the notebook in a dusty or smoke-filled area. Don't use it in a wet area such as near a swimming pool or in the bathtub. Don't use it at the beach where sand can get in it. Don't power it up and down unnecessarily. Protect the notebook from overheating by not running it when it's still inside the case, resting on a pillow, or partially covered with a blanket or anything else that would prevent proper air circulation around it. If a notebook has just come indoors from the cold, don't turn it on until it reaches room temperature. In some cases, condensation can cause problems. Some manufacturers recommend that when you receive a new notebook shipped to you during the winter, you should leave it in its shipping carton for several hours before you open the carton to prevent subjecting the notebook to a temperature shock. Protect a notebook against ESD. If you have just come in from the cold on a low humidity day when there is the possibility that you are carrying ESD, don't touch the notebook until you have grounded yourself. Before placing a notebook in a carrying case for travel, remove any CDs, DVDs, or USB flash drives, and put them in protective covers. Verify that the system is powered down and not in suspend or standby mode. If a notebook gets wet, you can follow steps given later in the chapter to partially disassemble it to allow internal components to dry. Give the notebook several days to dry before attempting to turn it on. Don't use heat to speed up the drying time. When you first become responsible for a notebook, take the time to locate or create the recovery media in case the hard drive ever crashes and needs replacing. A well-used notebook, especially one that is used in dusty or dirty areas, needs cleaning occasionally. Here are some cleaning tips. Clean the LCD panel with a soft dry cloth. If the panel is very dirty, you can use monitor wipes to clean it or dampen the cloth with water. Some manufacturers recommend using a mixture of isopropyl alcohol and water to clean an LCD panel. Be sure the LCD panel is dry before you close the lid. Use a can of compressed air meant to be used on computer equipment to blow dust and small particles out of the keyboard, trackball, and touchpad. Turn the notebook at an angle and direct the air into the sides of the keyboard. Then use a soft, damp cloth to clean the keycaps and touchpad. Use compressed air to blow out all air vents on the notebook to make sure they are clean and unobstructed. If keys are sticking, remove the keyboard so you can better spray under the key with compressed air. If you can remove the keycap, remove it and clean the key contact area with contact cleaner. One example of a contact cleaner you can use for this purpose is Stabilent22, www.stabilent.com. Reinstall the keyboard and test it. If the key still sticks, replace the keyboard. Remove the battery and clean the battery connections with a contact cleaner. Now let's look at the special keys and buttons a notebook might have, how to support the slots and peripherals used on notebooks, how to manage power on a notebook, and how to use port replicators or docking stations. Special keys, buttons, and input devices on a notebook. Buttons or switches might be found above the keyboard, and a keyboard backlight might light up the keyboard. Here are the purposes of a few keys and buttons. Some of them change Windows settings. Know that these same settings can also be changed using Windows tools. Volume setting. You can set the volume using the volume icon in the Windows taskbar. In addition, some notebooks offer buttons or function keys to control the volume, see Figure 1911. Screen brightness. The FN key and F5 or F6 control the screen brightness on many notebooks. Screen brightness can also be controlled in Windows display settings. Dual displays. Most laptops use a function key to control dual displays. For example, for one laptop, the combination of the FN key and the F7 key, see Figure 1911. Displays the box shown in Figure 1912. Use arrow keys to use only the LCD panel, duplicate or extend output to the external monitor, or use only the external monitor. Dual displays can also be managed using Windows display settings. Bluetooth or Wi-Fi on or off. Some notebooks use function keys such as FN with F5 or F6 to toggle Bluetooth or Wi-Fi on or off, or a notebook might have a switch for this purpose. You can also control Bluetooth and Wi-Fi using Windows settings or software utilities provided by the manufacturer. The most common pointing device on a notebook is a touchpad, see Figure 1913. IBM and Lenovo ThinkPad notebooks use a unique and popular pointing device embedded in the keyboard, see Figure 1914, called a track point or pointing stick. Some people prefer to use a USB wired or wireless mouse instead of a touchpad or track point. You can adjust the way the touchpad or track point works on a laptop using the Mouse Properties box. Click Mouse in the Hardware and Sound group of Control panel to open the box shown in Figure 1915. The tabs on this box vary depending on the pointing devices installed. Use the Mouse Properties box to adjust pointer speed, mouse trails, pointer size, how the touchpad buttons work, and other settings for pointing devices. For tablet PCs, the stylus can be controlled from the Pen and Input Devices box. The box can be accessed from Control Panel, and allows you to control stylus clicks and motion. Spell _CMSHA_ and express card slots. Most peripheral devices on today's notebooks use a USB port to connect to the notebook. Before USB devices became so popular, a notebook offered express card slots and even older PC card and card bus slots to connect peripheral devices. These slot and card standards were designed and supported by the _spell _CMSHA_ Personal Computer Memory Card International Association. Spell _CMSHA_ cards include one or more variations of PC card, card bus, and express card. The cards were used by many devices, including modems, network cards for wired or wireless networks, sound cards, SCSI host adapters, FireWire, IEEE 1394, controllers, USB controllers, flash memory adapters, TV tuners, and hard disks. Most new notebooks don't have these slots, but you still need to know how to support them because you'll see them on older notebooks. You need to be aware of the different standards for _spell _CMSHA_ cards, which are summarized here, listed in the order they were introduced into the market. 1. A PC card that uses a PC card slot is about the size of a credit card, but thicker. The slot used a 16-bit bus called the ISA-bus. Originally, PC cards were called _spell _CMSHA_ cards, and the FiRST of these cards were used to add memory to a notebook. Figure 1916 shows a PC card being inserted into a PC card slot. 3 standards for PC cards and PC card slots that pertain to size are Type I, Type II, and Type III. Generally, the thicker the PC card or slot, the higher the standard. You are unlikely to see PC card slots on notebooks today. 2. Card bus slots. Improved PC card slots by increasing the bus width to 32 bits, while maintaining backward compatibility with earlier standards. The slot uses the 32-bit PCI bus standards. Card bus slots can support the older 16-bit PC card devices. You cannot, however, insert a card bus card into an older 16-bit PC card slot. A PC card has a smooth edge, and a card bus has a bumpy strip on the edge. This bumpy strip prevents a card bus card from being inserted into a 16-bit PC card slot. Figure 1917 shows a TV tuner card bus card. If you look closely at the edge, you can see the gold, bumpy strip that prevents a card bus card from being inserted into an older PC card slot. PC card and card bus slots look alike on a notebook computer, and you can recognize these slots by the eject button on the side of the slot. See Figure 1918. One way to know which type of slot you have is to look in Device Manager. If Device Manager shows a controller with card bus in the controller title, then the slot is a 32-bit card bus slot. See Figure 1919. 3. The last _spell_CUSIA_ standard is Express Card, which uses the PCI Express Bus standard or the USB 2.0 standard. 2 sizes of Express cards exist. Express Card /34 is 34 mm wide and Express Card /54 is 54 mm wide. Both of these types of cards are 75 mm long and 5 mm high. Figure 1920 compares a card bus card to each of the 2 Express Card cards. An Express Card /34 card can fit into an Express Card /54 slot, but not vice versa. Express Card slots are not backward compatible with PC card or card bus cards. An Express Card slot is fully hot pluggable, add a card while the system is on, hot swappable, exchange or add a card while the system is on, and supports auto configuration, just as does a USB port. Figure 1921 shows an Express Card /54 card that provides 2 eSATA ports for external SATA drives. Windows must provide 2 services for a PC card or Express Card, a socket service and a card service. The socket service establishes communication between the card and the notebook when the card is FireST inserted. The card service provides the device driver to interface with the card after the socket is created. The FireST time you insert _spell_CUSIA_ card in a notebook, the Found New Hardware Wizard starts and guides you through the installation steps in which you can use the drivers provided by the hardware manufacturer or use Windows drivers. The next time you insert the card in the notebook, the card is detected and starts without help. Express cards and PC cards can be hot swapped, inserted or removed while the system is on, but you must stop one card before inserting another. To stop the card, use the Safely Remove Hardware icon in the notification area, which is similar to how you stop a USB device before unplugging it. After you have stopped the card, press the eject button beside the PC card slot, which causes the button to pop out. You can then press the button again to eject the card. For an Express Card, push on the card, which causes it to pop out of the slot. Then you can remove the card. Updating port or slot drivers. If you ever have a problem with a port or slot on a notebook not working, FireST turn to Device Manager to see if errors are reported and to update the drivers for the port or slot. The notebook manufacturer has probably stored backups of the drivers on the hard drive under Support Tools and on the recovery media if the recovery media is available. You can also download the latest drivers from the manufacturer's website. For some laptops, you can launch the Support Tools from the Windows Start, All Programs menu. Figure 1922 shows a dialog box available in the Support Tools for one laptop where you select which drivers to update. If the problem is still not solved after updating the drivers, try using Device Manager to uninstall the port or slot drivers and then use the support tools to reinstall the drivers. Power and electrical devices. A notebook can be powered by an AC adapter, which uses regular house current to power the notebook, or an installed battery pack. Battery packs today use lithium-ion technology. Most AC adapters today are capable of auto-switching from 110V to 220V AC power. Figure 1923 shows an AC adapter that has a green light that indicates the adapter is receiving power. Some mobile users like to keep an extra battery on hand in case the Fire ST1 uses up its charge. When the notebook signals that power is low, shut down the system, remove the old battery, and replace it with a charged one. To remove a battery, generally, you release a latch and then remove the battery, as shown in Figure 1924. For best battery charge times, some notebooks can use 2 batteries. For example, the notebook in Figure 1925 uses a second battery called a sheet battery that fits on the bottom of the notebook. The 2 batteries together give about 12 hours of use between charges. The sheet battery comes with an adapter so you can charge it when it's disconnected from the notebook. A DC adapter to provide power while in a car can be handy. Figure 1926 shows an inexpensive one that plugs into a cigarette lighter in a vehicle to provide AC power. The device is a type of inverter. An inverter is an electrical device that changes DC to AC. You can plug your AC adapter into the inverter to power a laptop in your car. If you are using an inverter, be sure to purchase one that supplies enough power, measured in watts, to meet the needs of your notebook. Power management. Use power management settings to conserve power and to increase the time before a battery pack needs recharging. Power is managed by putting the computer into varying degrees of suspend or sleep modes. Here are the different power saving states. Sleep mode. Using Windows 7/Vista, you can put the computer into sleep mode, also called suspend mode, to save power when you're not using the computer. If applications are open or other work is in progress, Windows FireSD saves the current state including open file A to memory and saves some of the work to the hard drive. Then everything is shut down except memory and enough of the system to respond to a wake up. In sleep mode, the power light on the notebook might blink from time to time. A notebook generally uses about 1 to 2% of battery power for each hour in sleep mode. To wake up the computer, press the power button or, for some computers, press a key or touch the touchpad. Windows wakes up in about 2 seconds. When Windows is in sleep mode, it can still perform Windows updates and scheduled tasks. Windows can be configured to go to sleep after a period of inactivity, or you can manually put it to sleep. To put the system to sleep manually, click Start, click the arrow to the right of Shutdown, and then click Sleep. See Figure 1927. Notebooks are usually configured to go to sleep when you close the lid. Hibernation. Hibernation saves all work to the hard drive and powers down the system. When you press the power button, Windows reloads its state, including all open applications and documents. When Windows is in sleep mode on a notebook and senses the battery is critically low, it will put the system into hibernation. With older computers, power settings could be configured in Windows and in BIOS setup, and the two settings could create a conflict. Newer BIOS does not control power settings that might be in conflict with Windows settings, such as when the computer goes to sleep. If you are having a problem with a computer refusing to go into sleep mode or hibernation or to wake up from sleep mode, check the BIOS power settings. Figure 1930 shows the BIOS power screen for one newer system. These settings apply primarily to how or when the system can wake up. Let's cover a little of what you might see on the BIOS power screen. Using the Advanced Configuration and Power Interface, ACPI, power standards, BIOS might refer to 5 ES states, S1 through S5, used to indicate different levels of power saving functions. In S1 state, the hard drive and monitor are turned off and everything else runs normally. In S2 state, the processor is also turned off. In S3 state, everything is shut down except RAM and enough of the system to respond to a wake up. S3 state is sleep mode. S4 state is hibernation. S5 state is the power off state after a normal shutdown. C states in setup BIOS refer to various degrees of shutting down the CPU. In C0 state, a CPU can work, executing instructions. In C1 though C6 states, the CPU shuts down various internal components, for example, the core clock, buffers, cache, and core voltage, to conserve power. The deeper the C state, the longer it takes for the processor to wake up. Mobile processors usually offer more C states than desktop processors. So, onward to port replicators and docking stations. Port replicators and docking stations. Some notebooks have a connector, called a docking port, on the bottom of the notebook, see figure 1931, to connect to a port replicator or docking station. A port replicator provides ports to allow a notebook to easily connect to a full-sized monitor, keyboard, AC power adapter, and other peripheral devices. See figure 1932. A docking station provides the same functions as a port replicator but provides additional slots for adding secondary storage devices and expansion cards. Laptop manufacturers usually offer a port replicator or docking station as additional options. To use a port replicator or docking station, plug all the peripherals into the port replicator or docking station. Then connect your notebook to the device. No software needs installing. When you need to travel with your notebook, rather than having to unplug all the peripherals, all you have to do is disconnect the notebook from the port replicator or docking station. That will be all in this C-Tech episode. Tune into next Monday for replacing and upgrading internal parts. We love you all. Thanks for watching C-Tech. That will be all for this video, so be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to C-Tech and enable that bell icon so you don't miss any further videos with us.